Hello student, in today's video I am going to explain the chapter number 7, Things Around Us. So in this chapter we will learn about characteristics of living things, about living things and non-living things and the differences between them. Now students, let us learn about the characteristic features of living and non-living things in our environment and how they react with each other. Now the first topic is definite structure of the organism. So students, living organisms are made up of tiny structures that is called cells. Now depending on the number of the cells, the organism can be divided as unicellular or multicellular. So there are the organisms made up of just one cell. An organism whose body consists only one cell is called unicellular organism. For example, bacteria, amoeba, paramecium, etc. In unicellular organism, all the life process are carried out by the single cell. And students, an organism whose body consists of several cells is called a multicellular organism. For example, human beings and rose plants. Now students, what is cellular organization? So students, living things have a definite structural organization. The bodies of living things are made up of cells which are the building blocks of the body. Now a cell is the smallest living structure that is able to function independently. Now a group of similar cells that perform a particular function form a tissue, as you can see in the diagram. After that, a group of tissues performing a particular function in the body form an organ. And a group of organ interacting with one another to perform a particular life process is called an organ system, as you can see in the diagram. And after the combination of all the organ systems, an organism is formed, like human being. Now the next is growth. So students, basically living things grow. For example, in animals, a child grows into an adult, and in plants, a seedling grows into a plant. So students, growth in living things is irreversible. For example, we cannot get the seedling back from the plant. Okay? Now the response to stimuli. So students, an immediate change in the environment of an organism which produces a change in the activities of organism is called an stimulus. Now students, an organism react to this environment or change in environment to a stimulus is called a response. For example, leaves of touch me not curl up when touched. Here, touch is the stimulus and curling up of the leaves is the response. The students, shoots of plant grows towards the light and the roots grow towards the gravity. Here, light and gravity are the stimuli and plant growth according to this is called the response. Now students, many animals also respond to stimuli such as heat, sound and light. Like we withdraw our hands if we touch a hot thing. So this is the response to the stimuli like heat. For example, insects such as moths are attracted towards the light. Now students, here light is the stimulus while attraction of moth towards it is the response of the moth. Now movement. The students, most living things are capable of moving on their own. Like animals move from one place to another in search of food and water, to escape from danger and many other reasons. But students, plants do not move on their own. However, they exhibit movement of certain parts such as leaves and roots. Now, students, roots move towards the water and shoot follow the sun. Leaves of bean plant droop at night. So, these are the movements in plants. Reproduction. Now, students, living things have the ability to reproduce more of their kind through reproduction. Students, different organisms have different means of reproduction. Like plants reproduce through seeds, but some plants also reproduce through the parts such as buds, roots, leaves, and stems. Students, for example, potato buds can grow into a new plants. Similarly, stem cutting of the plants such as rose, jasmine, and money plant can grow into a new plants. While in animals such as birds, snakes, lizard reproduce by laying eggs, while dogs, cats, goats, human beings are the one who give birth to the young ones. Now students, the next characteristic of living thing is nutrition. Now all living things need food. Like green plants manufacture their own food by photosynthesis, hence they are called autotrophs. While animals cannot manufacture their own food, hence they are called heterotrophs. They depend on the plants and other animals for the food. Students, living things remove waste from their body by the process of excretion. Most animals excrete solid waste in the form of feces, liquid waste in the form of urine, and gaseous waste in the form of carbon dioxide. While gum, resin, and latex are the waste given out by plants. Also, carbon dioxide produced during respiration is also an excretory product of plant. Now, respiration, the process by which living things utilize oxygen to release energy stored in the food they eat, is called respiration. Plants and animals respire all the time. Now students, breathing is just a part of respiration. By breathing, we inhale air that contains oxygen. It is through respiration that this oxygen is used by the body to obtain energy from the food. Now students, plants take in and give out air through the tiny openings called stomata, which is present on their leaf. Now students, most land animals including human being respire with the help of lungs, while fish which resides in the water take in oxygen dissolved in the water with the help of their gills, while animals such as earthworm breathe through their moist skin. Students, all the living things follow a cycle of growth and development in which an organism takes birth, grows into an adult, grows old, and die. This is known as life cycle of an organism. Now students, living things show all the characteristics that we are discussed above, while non-living things may show some of these characteristics. Now the main differences between living things and non-living things are listed in the table. Now we are going to discuss the table. Like living things are made of cells, while non-living things are not made up of cells. Living things respond to the changes in the external environment, which we will call that response to stimuli, while non-living things do not respond to any change in the external environment. Now, living things need food to stay alive, while non-living things do not need food. All living things respire, while non-living things do not respire. Living things show some of the movement on their own, while non-living things do not show movement on their own. Living things grow, living things can reproduce, living things can excrete, while non-living things cannot grow. Non-living things do not produce also, and non-living things do not excrete also. Now, the example of the living things are like dog, plant, human being, other animals, etc. While the example of non-living things are chair, pen, pencil, table, fan, etc. Now, students, this is given the summing up of the chapter. So, the characteristics of living things. Now, students, definite structure. All living organisms are made up of cells. The organisms having single cell are known as unicellular, for example, bacteria, while an organism that having number of the cells are known as multicellular, for example, loin. Now, students, these cells, when summed up, are formed tissues, while same tissues summing up forming organs, while organs summing up formed organ system, and the all organ systems are summed up while forming organism. Now, growth. So, students, seeds grow into seedlings while babies grow into adults. Now, living things also excrete. Like excretion products are carbon dioxide, sweat, urine, etc. Now, respiration. Now, students, plants respire through the stomata, while human beings and other animals respire through the lungs, while animals that live in water like fish respire through the gills, while earthworm respire through the moist skin. Now, students, nutrients. Organisms need food to stay alive. Now, organisms that depend on plant or other animals for food, or they do not cook their own food or make their own food, are called heterotrophs, while organisms that make their own food are called autotrophs. Students, living things reproduce to produce more of their own kind. Like plants reproduce through seeds, buds, stem cuttings, while dog, cat, cow, human beings give birth to the young ones, while birds, snakes, lizard, and frogs lay eggs. Now, movement. Students, plants show movement in only certain parts, while animals can walk, run, crawl, swim, and fly according to the condition. Now, response to stimuli. Now, stimulus, a change in the immediate external environment of an organism that causes it to respond, is called the response to stimuli. Students, this is it in this chapter. I hope you get the chapter. Thank you.